He had sent his CV everywhere he could think of. No prospective employer had recognised his natural curiosity, his talent for picking up languages, and his sense of order and clarity. Everyone had seen his degree in Persian poetry and his many years of working as a travel agent to finance his studies. So there he was, stuck in a minibus on his way to work. Ian, who loved travel and adventure, lands unknown, languages unheard of. He had to organise the journeys of others, grounded in his cubicle at the office. Not that his usual clients were a particularly interesting lot. Most of his assignments were groups of pilgrims touring the religious sites, where they saw a predictable canon of places and heard a predictable canon of stories, over and over again, like the pearls of a rosary. Occasionally, Ian got some more exciting assignments. Groups of ornithologists flocking to witness the migration of birds in spring and autumn, or groups of political activists who needed to be steered away from trouble. Sometimes he was assigned individual travellers, if they were sufficiently VIP. Last week, Ian had taken care of the complicated visa requirements of a British lady, Lucy DeFosse, who was also an eminent professor of some kind. Lady Lucy needed to continue her journey to Saudi Arabia and Iran, countries that were bitter rivals and adversaries. She had a Saudi visa in her passport, but also required an Iranian one. How could she get it, with the visa of the arch-enemy already in her passport, and within 2 days, and in a country without an Iranian consulate? Impossible. Miss Piggy had given Ian 1 day's leave from the office to sort out Lady Lucy's visa. Ian drove to the border, changed his car for a taxi on the other side, and was driven to the Iranian consulate, which he entered with his British passport. Her Britannic Majesty's Secretary of State requests and requires in the name of Her Majesty all those whom it may concern to allow the bearer to pass freely without let or hindrance, and to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. This was written on the first page, and indeed Ian was let into the consulate, where he faced a gruff-looking uniformed officer below the portraits of the Ayatollah and the President. The officer was transformed, however, on hearing Ian speaking his language and noting how he spoke it, a beautiful classic Persian. And when Ian mixed a few of Hafiz's verses in his plea, the officer shook his hand, tears in his eyes, and glued the visa into Lady Lucy's passport without even turning a page. Yet this was 1 day in a long series of days at the office. Ian's life was a farce played badly, a farce without end. How could it ever end? With a phone call. 2. "Ian!" came the unmistakable shriek from the direction of the boss. Ian had put his mind in the state of an audiovisual nirvana so that he could concentrate on his screen, while 2 of his cubicle neighbours were arguing with clients on the phone. "Ian!" The boss, nicknamed Miss Piggy by her inferiors at the office, flung her scarf around her neck and set sail towards Ian's position. He woke from his nirvana when the first wave of her perfume wafted in. "Ian, how many times do I need to call you? I've got a phone call from that British lady you were supposed to get a visa for. What have you done to her visa?" "I got it for her." "You must have made some mistake. She wants to see you at once." "At once?" "She's a VIP client of the company, and a real lady." Miss Piggy elevated her stature and let her hair wave around, as if proof were required that she was a lady as well. "Clients and ladies are always right. Now," changing her vowels from those of a fair lady to the sounds of her native East End of London, "move it!" Half an hour later, Ian found himself at the main entrance to the Intercontinental Hotel, where Lady Lucy had taken her lodgings. The security guard at the door nodded and let him in. Ian was wondering what he could possibly have done wrong. Was the date of the visa incorrect, or was the name...